McCain was still a politician you could respect even if you didn't agree with him. Also, he was someone who put his money where his mouth was, actually having served in Vietnam and having been tortured as a POW is a far cry from Mr. Bonespurs, Commander in Cheetos.
US positions military to potentially join Israel war with Iran.
I'm voting for Trump because he will keep us out of wars. Idiot 2025.
It's not a war, it's a special military operation. DJT.
Yup, that's what is coming.
A string of special military operations.
That will happen for years.
Gulf of Tonkin.
3 days, in and out.
That's what a military invasion is like. It's like coming. We're going to be coming day and night.
Thanks, Arnold.
The harder they come, the harder we come. That's disgusting.
Dude, we all know the real reason Trump wants to join in. It's to rename the Gulf of Persia into the Gulf of Trump. A temporary peacetime adjustment.
And involve regular forces.
I mean, if they have air superiority and only care about destroying nuclear facilities, pretty doable, honestly. Only targets Iran can conceivably hit in return are military bases in the region. Now, if the goal is regime change, have fun playing in the sand.
It's only a 2-day operation. Or $2 trillion later.
To be fair, war has a special definition. So Trump might be right. The problem is they use a different definition when blaming Obama and Biden for starting wars.
Awesome that laws and congressional approval can be circumvented by changing words in a sentence.
One praying mantis wasn't enough. Now it's time for the whole monastery.
They've got WMDs or something. And are harboring some terrorists or something somewhere.
Weapons of McDonald's, Donald.
And Clinton had no sexual relations, just a blowjob.
Concepts of a war.
Nah, Trump's dumb enough he'll probably declare war on X-Twitter.
He lacks the intelligence to obfuscate like that.
The Iraq War 2003 wasn't a war either, since it was a police action.
His buddy Putin gave him that one, not me.
You gotta remember, none of the reasons they gave for voting for him were true or even realistic. The actual reason was very black and white. Don't vote for Obama, he'll start a war with Iran. Don't vote for Clinton, she'll start a war with Iran. Don't vote for Biden, he'll start a war with Iran. Idiots, the last 17 years.
Heard exactly that in 2008. Meanwhile, McCain singing bomb, 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 Iran.
I didn't necessarily agree with McCain, but he was the last Republican with a spine and integrity. The GOP died with him.
And every Republican since has labeled him a rhino.
I'm sure I disagreed with John McCain's opinions far more often than I agreed with them, but I always felt a certain level of respect for him. Then before he passed, I was agreeing with him more and more. If you told the version of me from 2006, 2012 that I would look back fondly on McCain and Romney, and that I would agree with Dick Cheney regarding who should be president, I would have laughed in your face. Trumpism has really elevated America to a new level of garbage politics.
Romney voted to impeach Trump, so I include him too.
I thought McCain was the one who was going to bomb Iran. And Clinton and Biden were going to start a war with Russia.
To the gates of hell when asked how far he'd take a military search for Osama bin Laden.
McCain was still a politician you could respect even if you didn't agree with him. Also, he was someone who put his money where his mouth was, actually having served in Vietnam and having been tortured as a POW is a far cry from Mr. Bonespurs, Commander in Cheetos.
That's the secret. Both candidates are always going to start a war with Iran according to their opponents.
That's actually how it was originally presented, to the tune of Barbara Ann.
Every Republican since McCain needs to eat a giant bag of dicks.
Why did I sing this to the tune of Barbara Ann? That was the intended goal.
No, you see, Trump is ending a war with Iran, not starting one.
Give Obama a peace prize. And a piece of a family he blew up in Pakistan.
A presidential historian 5 months ago said this: The thing is, the American people very rarely vote on foreign policy, and they tend not to reward people for wars that don't happen or for avoiding conflict. They do reward presidents when they win wars. Not quite sure what to make of that on what is understandably a very devised topic given the current political climate. Is there an older American that has lived through many presidents and wars who can give their opinion on that statement?
Not older, but the older folks in my life always had a good explanation for this. In my mind, winning a war promotes nationalism and pride that will allow someone to overlook the horrible things you've done. Preventing a war allows the people to focus on those terrible things and hold them against you. My grandpa wasn't a good man, but damn did he have some good advice sometimes. Also, Bush Sr. won his war and was immediately voted out. Kinda dumps all over this thesis.
Vietnam.
War doesn't establish who's right, only who's left.
It's the economy, stupid.
Gulf won? Pretty certain we did.
Taxes, war. We didn't win that one. Desert Storm in 91. Yes, other countries helped. And they were well on the way to Baghdad, but Bush Sr. stopped as the objectives had been completed.
Bush's ratings went up specifically because of 9/11 and the U.S. government using that as an excuse for war, weapons of mass destruction, etc. Assume that history was very well known and obvious, not in any way similar to what's happening now. Not at all, not even a little bit.
6 more black people voted for him this time around, tripling his vote count. But we also had more black people this time around.
Poetic.
We are lucky he didn't bring up joining Russia's war with Ukraine. Yet.
Just wait until the big Korea kaboom when Iran and Russia fail. I hope not, but still.
I'm by no means a Trump supporter from Canada, but if a swift, decisive action with minimal civilian casualties opens the door to a regime change in Iran, I would consider this a win for humanity. The Iranian people deserve a future, and as long as the boot of the Ayatollah is on their necks, they don't have a chance. Given how dissent is handled, external intervention is the only hope they have for change. Obviously, it would be important how the aftermath is dealt with, but I can scarcely imagine a worse scenario for the Iranian people than the last 40 years or so.
Congrats. You now know exactly how you would have reacted to Bush before the Iraq War.
Freedom is gained under American bombs. Get back to 2001 with this delusion.
If you can drop a couple MOPs nearly risk-free on a factory inside a mountain to prevent a dangerous regime from building nuclear weapons without having to put troops on the ground, that's a pragmatic military solution to an unsolvable diplomatic problem. This isn't an apples-apples comparison to the Iraq boondoggle. We know Iran is enriching nuclear material, and we know where they're doing it.
War never changes. And Americans wanting to bring peace to the Middle East at the tip of a missile never changes either.
Ah, the old American. They need our freedoms rhetoric.
This was exactly the game plan for Iraq. Gee, how did that work out? You people have the memory span of fruit flies, I swear to fucking God. Anyone who thinks like you should eat shit for. The regime is not well liked, but that doesn't mean that they don't prefer the regime over an occupation where their sons and daughters may be caught in the middle. It's easy to assume they would want to be free from it, but change that drastic is never clean, and most people will change their minds on a topic if it starts affecting the ones they love. For better or worse.
You're very naive.
Oh, don't you worry. They'll come up with a super convenient excuse as to why Anthesa war doesn't count or is justified.
Yeah, basically, like with all the other nonsense he comes up with on the fly, like the Gulf of America and trying to make Greenland and Canada into states, the sycophants will rise up in force and act like this is something they wanted all along.
Maybe, but I wouldn't overestimate this regime's competence in crafting the nuanced, persuasive arguments of previous administrations.
Of course, but he has Donnie saluting his generals, LOL.
Kim hates America.
Trump won't let Russia fail.
Trump admires Kim. They've been pretty chill for the most part.
Yes, another thing the two have in common.
Think he likes Disneyland, though? I'm not sure he actually does. You have to keep in mind that the people who run these places sometimes actually believe the things they say, but sometimes it's performative. If you're in charge of a power structure built on being armed against the eternal enemy, you must hate the eternal enemy publicly, regardless of your actual feelings, or the system will devour you.
I don't think so. He grew up in Switzerland, enjoys American media, and is a big fan of the NBA. He was selected by the ruling elite, and how in control he is questionable. Not exactly the easiest situation to inherit.
The election was in 2024.
Are you sure? Because that would totally invalidate the joke I made. Oh, wait, nope, still works.
It does add some irony to it.
You forgot the funny.
But we said Kamala was gonna do it, so it's okay if we do.
It's not war, it's a preemptive strike. Taco.
Marginally sentient societal cancer. He is going after Iran for the same thing Russia has been doing to Ukraine for years.